will surely say absolutely nothing about the process of the election.
Its time at the Vatican has been marred by a string of scandals, hasn't it? I mean, tell us about that.
When I met Jay on Westboro Mingle, I was so relieved that I finally found someone who hates everything I hate.
Rock and roll.
Oh, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Darin Howard.
I'm Robert Nisbet.
It is Wednesday, February the 13th, 2013. Lucky 13 today.
213.
You've got to like it, that one. The Pope resigned. We're covering Catholic and religious issues, so stay tuned. We are out-of-the-box thinkers. You know it. So if you're one of those people who are interested in a 200-mile-per-gallon carburetor for your car,
or the fact that you can grow 1 million pounds of food on only 5 acres,
then stick around because we're talking about innovations in the intellectual sense. It's Radio Free Canada. Thanks for tuning in. Let's start it off with this.
Lightning strikes the Vatican on the night of Pope Benedict XVI's resignation. Could it have been a sign from on high that a storm is brewing in the upper echelons of the Roman Catholic Church? The Vatican's raft of tough challenges include appointing a new pope and finding a role for the soon-to-be former one, as Euronews correspondent Alberto De Filippis reports. The Holy See has made its official statement. Spokesman Father Federico Lombardi with visible nerves addressed journalists, yet some questions remain. Lombardi was clear about the upcoming vote.
Benedict XVI will surely say absolutely nothing about the process of the election. You can be totally sure that the cardinals will be autonomous in their decision.
Cardinal Angelo Scola is the most prominent Italian candidate for the role. Brazilian João Braz Davis is also in the running. The successor will be chosen during a secret election. The protocol on that is clear, but as for how the church deals with a retired pope, that's almost uncharted territory.
And that's the way that we do things right here. We're starting off with a lightning strike on the Vatican.
yes, well, there's very many strikes against the Vatican.
And we're here to not touch those things that they're not touching.
Well, they have had some PR problems lately.
No, say it's not so.
Yes, so recently they've come up with a new ad campaign.
A new ad campaign. We're going to run that. We're running up all kinds of stuff. And remember, we totally respect people and their beliefs when they're following them. Remember, we're here to fight against poverty. We're here to fight against corruption. And we're here to talk about those things that lamestream media refuses to talk about. I am Darin Howard.
And I am Robert Nisbet.
You're tuned into Radio Free Canada, and we're going to talk about something that is not polite to talk about, religion and politics. Let's start things off with this. Welcome to the show.
The Catholic Church is changing. We get it. You don't want us touching your kids. Message received. This chart shows alleged inappropriate behavior towards children since 90 AD, when we first started keeping records. We are going to bring those numbers down. Not overnight. We're not miracle workers. But here's our pledge to you. You bring your kids back to church, and there will be a significantly lower chance that he or she will be inappropriately touched, particularly she. And if one of our priests does touch one of your kids, you will dine absolutely free at Long John Silver's. We're the new Catholic Church, and we know it's time to roll up our sleeves and pull up our pants.
Wow. Where did you find that one, man?
I don't know. So you think that that will get butts back in the pews?
You know what? I'm really hoping. One of the problems that we do have in society is our moral center has been lost somewhat. Okay.
Completely.
Now, I'm not saying that the church has a moral center because, the obvious corruption, the way their ratings are going down and stuff like that. But they refuse to look at their own problems. Okay.
Yeah.
To see no evil, hear no evil thing. And they've allowed problems to continue on. Why have they done that?
Well, I don't know, because, that's supposed to be something we should be talking about, but it's not polite to talk about religion.
Yeah, it's not it's not polite to talk about religion. Kind of makes me wonder. But we do need to start talking about these things because there's a lot of flack. Muslims are taking a lot of flack. We need to start defending them. We have to start defending the impoverished against Christian business owners who own poverty-level businesses. You know, that's kind of an important thing.
And I'm not saying the church is completely corrupt and evil, but they do some good things, but I'm not sure on the scales.
Yeah. Okay, come on. Let's take a look at it. Remember, we pay our taxes. Small businesses pay their taxes. Churches freeload on society by not paying income tax, and then they ship money out. The Catholic Church extracting billions of dollars from the North American continent by not paying taxes and shipping money back to Rome. But
with Benedict the 16th leaving, I mean, a lot of people saying it's because he's too old, but there's a lot of other reasons.
Okay, let's run it.
The Vatican has announced that Pope Benedict XVI will step down on February 28th, citing his old age. The 85-year-old will become the first head of the Catholic Church to resign from the post in nearly 6 centuries. Let's get more on this now from RT's Tom Barton live in the studio for us here. His time at the Vatican has been marred by a string of scandals, hasn't it? I mean, tell us about that.
It has indeed. It's certainly been a difficult time. Pope Benedict was recorded to have said that he didn't really want the job of Pope, and what a time to have been in that position, fending off scandal after scandal that the Church has been, the Catholic Church has been mired in. Overarching them all, the child abuse sex scandal involving a number of priests around the Catholic Church, and he having to fend off that to try and bolster the reputation of the Church, which really took a battering because of that crisis. We've also got VatiLeaks. A lot of leaked information about power struggles and possible corruption inside the Vatican. The Vatican itself responding angrily to that, saying that the media was trying to play Dan Brown, the popular author who wrote the novel Angels and Demons, sort of insinuating that kind of thing going on inside the Vatican. And then we've got the Vatican Bank itself, allegations there that bank may be connected with dodgy bank accounts to the Italian mafia itself. So a really difficult period to be Pope.
OK, Tom Barton, thanks a lot for that for now. Thank you.
And you know, my heart goes out because a very difficult time to be Catholic. Okay.
It's really tough to be Catholic right now.
You know, we're down at Immaculata there about 3 years ago. We're gathering together at the Education Center, and I'm talking to one of the priests there, and he said, it is so tough to say that you're a Catholic in the general public. And that's a bit of a thing.
I mean, is it going to be almost as tough as it is to say I'm a Muslim?
Yes. Okay. Secular society knows child molesters being protected by the Catholic Church. You lose your credibility. Okay, but, you know, Muslims blowing people up, okay? But remember, it's just their fanatical leaders, okay? It's like Westboro Baptist Church. They're the fanatical leaders. They're the front edge, but everybody judges the whole group.
Well, there's a lot of problems in the evangelical Christian churches as well.
Yes, and you know what? Do you want to run that? Let's run the Westboro thing, okay?
Oh, okay.
Okay, with all due respect, absolutely, to those people there, I do want to laugh just for a second about religion because these guys, this is awesome. Check it out.
Well, the first day we met, he came up to me and the first thing he said was, God hates fags.
I did. It was beautiful. For me, Westboro Mingle is this vehicle that God did use to put my wife and I together. And that, for me, is a very powerful, powerful thing.
Powerful, like a bomb, like a nuclear bomb.
Yeah, like a bomb that just blows everything up.
Kills everyone. When I met Jay on Westboro Mingle, I was so relieved. I finally found someone who hates everything I hate.
Blacks, gays, Jews, Mexicans, Jamaicans, anything west of America.
Music, dancing.
Vacations.
Dinosaurs.
Space travel.
Modern art.
Books.
Okay. Oh, and I remember this one time we'd been picketing a funeral. It was the kindergartners, or was it the war?
It was the soldier.
It was the soldiers, and my arms were tired. And he comes up to me and he takes the sign out of my hands, and he goes right up to that enabler's children, And what did you say?
I said your father's burning in the eternal fires of hell.
Hi, my name's Mindy, and I met my husband Jay on westboromingle.com.
Join westboromingle.com, the first website made by God. westboromingle.com, where hate and love come together.
So there you go. Westboro Baptist Church, yes, earning all the grief that they have earned.
And they deserve it.
Yes, and I have no question in my mind that this is a distortion. Of course, you remember, if you're Christian, you're supposed to sell all your possessions and serve the poor. Of course, that doesn't happen anymore.
And you're not supposed to exploit the poor.
Oh, yes, that's important. Now, talking about the scandals that the Pope is starting to evade.
I mean, the list is so long.
Yes. There's one that's not talked about much. Canadian mining companies employing forced slave labor. That's one thing that we covered. This that you got.
This is crazy.
Okay, what is it, man?
It's the Irish laundry scandal.
Okay. All right. Let's run the clip. Make up your own mind.
Ireland's Prime Minister today said sorry to the thousands of girls and women who were locked up in Catholic-run workhouses. The victims were effectively imprisoned on moral grounds in institutions known as Magdalene laundries. Survivors have campaigned for an apology and compensation. Martha Fairley is in Dublin tonight, where a report into the government's role in the scandal was published. Martha, what did it say?
Well, this 1,000-page report confirmed that the state was directly involved in the Magdalene laundry system. It confirmed that the state had sent over a quarter of the 10,000 women who were locked up in the laundries. It also confirmed that the government had offered and given the laundries lucrative contracts over the years. And these women had been forced to stay in the laundries, to work without pay in harsh conditions, and it found there was much verbal and psychological abuse, but it said it didn't find evidence of the physical and sexual abuse that had been reported by some survivors. Well, this afternoon, the Irish Prime Minister, Enda Kenny, he said that he was very sorry that the women had lived in that kind of environment. But the survivors say that isn't really an apology at all. And Dr. Catherine O'Donnell from Justice for Magdalene's said it wasn't the apology they were looking for today. Well, the Irish Parliament will debate this again in 2 weeks' time. The survivors hope that then they will get a full apology and also a compensation package.
Martha, thank you.
So do your research on that. Don't take our word for it. Also take a look at Christian residential schools in Canada.
Exactly. Same thing happened here.
Exactly the same.
But you know, there's so many people in the States believe that the Supreme Being really cares about all the minuscule things that happen in their life.
Okay, let's run it. Check it out.
Millions of Americans willfully suffer under the illusion that religious faith brings health, wealth, and, I kid you not, Super Bowl victories. A recent study by the Public Religion Research Institute found that 1/3 of the United States believes that God plays a role in determining which team wins the Super Bowl. Also, a majority, more than 1 in 2, believe that God rewards individual athletes who are faithful to God with success. We can't just gloss over this. A majority of U.S. citizens in 2013 thinks that the all-knowing creator of the universe is sitting up in the heavens looking down on the extreme poverty and misery that encompass the world that he created in 6 days, and sees that half of his beautiful creatures live on less than $2.50 a day, with 80% of humanity living on less than $10 a day. But here's the thing. If your God is one who bestows gifts on football players who are, let us not kid ourselves, merely actors in the reality TV commercial for American exceptionalism, imperialism, and hypercapitalism that contribute in a very major way to the aforementioned poverty I referenced, then you need to stop following that tyrannical God of yours and maybe brush up on a little Jesus, who, being a socialist himself, might have a whole lot of misgivings about the unequal distribution of wealth and the homicidal lengths our exceptional America is willing to go to preserve it.
Once again, proving that we do know about morality and justice.
Yes, but you know, God bless America.
Yes, God's only party, ensuring weapons are built instead of homeless people being housed.
And don't forget, Obama's contributing to that as well.
So right now we're urging churches to become less freeloaders, start paying their taxes like we all do, and start unlocking their doors more than an hour a week, so maybe the homeless might have help.
Yes, not just so God can hear us.
Okay, coming up, we got segments talking about a police state growing in the United States.
We're going to be talking about how our reputation is linked to the United States.
And we're also going to talk about cops in action. That's all coming up. Radio Free Canada, I'm Darin Howard.
And I'm Robert Nisbet.
Thanks for joining us. Remember, you are the solution. If you're listening, you are the revolution. Stand your ground, get a sign, and represent. We're going to be right back after these.